The sun blazed over Dusty Creek, a quiet western town where whispers traveled faster than the wind. The church bell rang that morning, echoing across the plains, signaling another wedding day. But this wedding wasn't the kind that made people smile. The townsfolk had gathered outside the wooden chapel not to bless the bride, but to mock her. Her name was Martha Ann, a woman with a heart as wide as the prairie and a body that didn't fit the world's cruel idea of beauty. She stood before the mirror inside the chapel, her trembling, hands clutching a bouquet of wildflowers, daisies, and buttercups she had picked. Herself at dawn, her gown strained slightly at the seams, the lace collar pressing against her neck. She had dreamed of this day since she was a little girl, but now, as laughter echoed faintly through the windows, she wondered if love was just a cruel game made for the beautiful and the slender. Outside, the man she thought she loved, Thomas Granger, stood with his friends, their hats tipped low and grins wide. "Can you imagine?" one of them snickered. "That poor horse she'll sit on after the wedding?" The others roared with laughter. Even Thomas didn't stop them. He smirked, trying to hide his discomfort. He had agreed to marry her not out of love, but out of convenience. Her father owned a small patch of land and a few cattle. To Thomas, Martha Ann wasn't a woman, she was a trade. But someone else watched from a distance: Jacob Rowland, a rugged cowboy with weathered hands and eyes the color of the desert sky. He leaned against his horse, chewing on a piece of straw, watching the cruel scene unfold. Jacob wasn't from Dusty Creek. He'd ridden in the night before, looking for work. But something in the way the crowd snickered, something in the way that woman's eyes trembled with hope and heartbreak, made his heart twist. He had a little girl waiting back home, and he thought of her. What if someday the world laughed at her too? Inside, Martha took a deep breath. Her father, old Mr. Samuels, patted her hand gently. "You look beautiful, Pumpkin," he said softly, his eyes glistening. But he too knew the whispers. He had begged her to wait, but she insisted. She believed love was stronger than laughter. The music began, the old piano keys striking a trembling tune. As Martha stepped out, the chatter died down. All eyes turned to her. Some women hid smirks behind lace fans. Others whispered behind gloved hands. She walked slowly, gracefully, her eyes fixed on Thomas at the altar. He didn't smile. He didn't even look at her. Her heart began to sink. But she kept walking, each step a battle between pride and pain. Then it happened. Just as she reached the altar, one of Thomas's drunken friends shouted from the back, "Careful, the floor might crack." The room exploded with laughter. The wind carried the scent of pine and river water across the plains that evening as Martha Ann walked aimlessly, her white dress torn and dusty. The church bells had long gone silent, but their echo still rang in her heart. Every laugh, every whisper, every cruel glance played again and again in her mind like a broken record. She didn't know where she was going. She only knew she couldn't go back. Not to the town that mocked her, not to the man who traded her heart for a joke. The sun dipped behind the hills, painting the sky in hues of crimson and gold. She followed the riverbank until her legs gave out beneath a large oak tree. The soft hum of crickets filled the air, and for the first time that day, tears flowed freely down her cheeks. "Maybe they're right," she whispered into the wind. "Maybe I'm not meant to be loved." Her reflection shimmered faintly in the water, and she hated the face staring back at her. But before the darkness could swallow her hope, a flicker of orange caught her eye, a campfire glowing in the distance. Jacob Rowland sat by the fire, his hat tilted low, a tin cup of coffee steaming beside him. His daughter Ellie slept under a wool blanket near the fire, her tiny face peaceful. He looked up when he heard the rustle of leaves and saw Martha stumble into the clearing. Her gown, once pure white, was now stained with mud and tears. She looked like a ghost from another world. "Evening, ma'am," he said softly, standing up. "Didn't mean to startle you. You lost?" She hesitated, unsure if she should trust him. But something in his voice, steady, kind, without judgment, made her shoulders drop. "No," she whispered. "Just running." Jacob nodded slowly. "Reckon you've had one of those days." He gestured toward the fire. "You're welcome to sit. Ain't much, but the warmth's free." She managed a small nod and sat near the edge of the firelight. The heat kissed her cold fingers, and for a long time neither spoke. The only sounds were the crackling wood and the soft breath of the sleeping child. After a while, Jacob poured her a cup of coffee and handed it over. She stared at it, her hands trembling. "Thank you," she murmured. "You're the man from the church, aren't you?" He smiled faintly, settling down across from her. Guess word travels fast, or maybe faces stick when folks act fools. She almost smiled, just a flicker of it. "You didn't laugh," she said quietly. "Everyone else did." Jacob looked into the fire, his jaw tightening. "My girl was with me. I don't teach her to mock people. World's got too much cruelty already. I figure a little kindness won't kill a man." Martha's eyes softened. "You have a good heart," she said. "That's rare around here." He chuckled lowly. "So I've been told, though it don't pay much." He glanced at her dress, then at her bare feet. "You ran far, didn't you?" She nodded. "Far enough, I hope. I can't go back. Not after what they did." Jacob leaned forward, his voice steady.